Hello and welcome back to our journey through the Psalms. This week we're taking a look at Psalm 13. It is one of my favorite psalms because it's a psalm of lament. Laments are a way of expressing grief, of putting words to what we feel is deeply wrong. The best part of lament, in my opinion, is the truth and the hope that it hinges upon. Laments begin with crying out to God. Let's take a look at this psalm of lament together. David writes, "How long, O Lord? Will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I take counsel in my soul and have sorrow in my heart all the day? How long shall my enemy be exalted over me? Consider and answer me, O Lord my God. Light up my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death. Lest my enemies say, I have prevailed over him, lest my foes rejoice because I am shaken. But I have trusted in your steadfast love. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me." What comfort it is for us to know that King David, this man who was described as a man after God's own heart, he had thoughts like these. What a gift it is that they were recorded and that they transcend time and speak to our hearts thousands of years later. David begins his lament with asking hard questions. Have you ever felt forgotten by God? Have you ever felt like he's hiding from you? Have you ever felt utterly defeated or in a deep despair? It's okay to express that to God. It's healthy to be honest with him. If you're in a season like this now, I invite you just to take a moment to cry out to the Lord about what is wrong. It's a good thing for us to do. But we can't stay there. David, in his lament, then turns to the Lord and asks him to move. He begs God to answer him, to not let his enemies win. In our laments, we need to express what is wrong, but we also need to acknowledge God and his power. We've got to turn to him. If we don't, our lament isn't a lament, it's just a complaint. So, like David, may we remind ourselves of what we know to be true. David says, "But I have trusted in your steadfast love. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me." Notice he doesn't immediately say, "My heart is rejoicing in your salvation." He's proclaiming, he's promising, he's asking that this would be true, that his heart would rejoice in his salvation. In our darkest moments, in the deepest valleys, the anchoring hope we have is in God's faithfulness. We have seen him do great things. We have known the riches of his love, and we must remind our souls that this affliction is momentary, that this grief is but a mist of time. We must remember that the Lord is still good and still in control. So, as you meditate on the words of Psalm 13 this week, I invite you to write some laments of your own. Maybe look up a few other psalms of lament and model some prayers after them. Begin with declaring what is wrong, honestly, openly, and with all sincerity. Then turn to the Lord and acknowledge his power and care. Let that then drive you to remember what you know to be true about God. And if you're having trouble remembering the good because things are so bad right now, turn to Scripture to find truths and promises and begin proclaiming them to God, but also preaching them to your soul. I pray this encourages you this week. We look forward to being back next week with another psalm. We'll see you next time.
The music used in this episode was graciously provided by our friend and fellow music producer, Melissa Carey.